Okay, so we are going to look at how we made the owl wearing a frog mask last night in class. We used some layers and we used some effects and we selected things and we learned a little bit about selection tools. Um, and in the next video, we will go over a little bit more about blending modes, I think. But for now, we're just going to take about 6 minutes or so, and we are going to put a frog mask on an owl. So the first thing we did was open the uh, three files that we had. We had the frog face, we had the great horned owl face, and we had the mask. So we toggled between looking at them this way in full screen, or this item here, which is so that they're all in tabs across the top, and looking at them in different windows here. The first thing we did after we had opened these was we made a new image that was just the standard 4x6 default size. So to do that, you go to File, New, Blank File, and the preset we used was just the custom, or excuse me, the default Photoshop size, which is 4x6. And so when we click OK, now we have four images open. We have the blank image, we have the frog face, we have the horned owl, and we have the mask. So to look at all of those together, we used this icon here, which showed them all side by side. And we did this pretty quickly and simply. All we did was drag the owl and the frog over onto the untitled image, and then we selected the mask and drug it, or copied and pasted it onto that untitled image. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the Move tool and do that. I'm going to highlight and activate the frog face and drag him over to this image. I'm not going to resize him or do anything to him at the moment. Then I am going to activate the owl face and move him over to the untitled image. So now you'll see over in our layers palette, we have the owl and we have the frog. And now we're going to go ahead and activate this mask layer. And if we move the mask up here, remember we use the magic wand. Now the magic wand has a tolerance setting. A smaller number is a very specific range of pixels, and a larger number is a broader or more liberal allowance for pixel colors that it select. So with 32, and I don't remember, 32 doesn't quite get it all. So you'll remember the options up here are New Selection and Add to Selection. So if we click Add to Selection, we can continue clicking around in the mask until all of it is selected. So once all the mask is selected, last night we looked at refining the edge a little bit too. I'm not going to do that right now, but that would allow you to pull in all of the marching ants so that you would lose any kind of halo around the edge of what is selected. So I'm going to go ahead and copy, Control C, what I've selected here, and then I'm going to come down here and activate our untitled image, and Control V, and now our mask is pasted on here. So in our layers palette now we have the mask, the owl, and the frog. And remember last night we learned we can rename these and organize them a little bit. I'm going to leave them just the way they are for this demonstration. But now I don't really need the frog or the mask or any of these other images anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and close them. That will bring us to our single image here. So we expanded these last night, and we learned that we can toggle on and off the layers. So I'm going to go ahead and just make this frog a little bit bigger, and I am then going to activate the owl layer and make the owl a little bit bigger. And we will let's go ahead and line up their eyeballs here, which is what we did last night. So I'm going to go ahead and move the owl layer below the frog, so it's drag and drop, And then I'm going to change the opacity of this frog layer down to something so I can kind of see through it, so we can get these frog eyes to match up. Let's see. That's good. I think the frog's going to have to be a little bit bigger. Grab these corners. Get those eyeballs in there just about right. Perfect. Remember, we can crop this whole image when we're done. So that looks good. And now we have the mask up here. And now we have to make the mask fit over the frog eyeballs too. So I'm going to put the opacity back to 100% on the frog. I'm going to activate the mask layer, and I'm going to move this mask over here and make it a little bit larger so that the eyeballs of the frog fit in here pretty well. Okay, so that looks good. So the three layers are lined up. Their eyeballs are all at the right spots. The next thing we did was we changed the order. We moved the mask below the frog. Then we activated the frog layer, and we went to Layer, Create Clipping Mask, or Control D. And what that does is it takes the mask from below and it pushes it through that upper layer so that the only thing that's visible is that image of the mask with the content of the layer above it laid on top of it. So now we have our mask. The last thing, or the second to last thing we did, was we combined these two layers, or we merged these visible layers here. Or excuse me, not the visible ones. We merged the two selected layers so that now that mask is on a layer by itself. We came up to Edit and Stroke or Outline the selection, and we changed the color to a white, and we made it I think like 5 pixels or so, and clicked OK. And it gave an outline to the mask. And that was how we added a frog mask to an owl in a simple, short version.